Yo, what is up, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Big Four Podcast. My name is Luke Spring, and I'm with the usual Brian, Nick, and Andrew. How are you guys doing tonight?
Terrific.
I'm good.
Terrific.
Great.
Brian, how are you doing?
Great.
Okay.
Yeah,
So what
been
one-word
better.
answers, but that's all right. As always, we are your number two source for all things sports. If you know, go follow us on Instagram and Twitter at the Big Four _podcast for more exclusive content. Not really exclusive because it's just basically this, but you get the picture. We have a lot to talk about. The NBA season has now been in its second, third week, something like that.
Christmas
2.5
right before
weeks.
that, so it was 2.5, 3.
2.5 weeks. But more importantly, the NFL season is wrapped up. Not really for
Oh my God.
Patriots fans, but for other fans of other teams in other conferences and divisions, the playoffs are starting. And
Playoffs?
that is, that's a big deal. Not for Patriots fans, but, we've had our fair share of playoff runs. So believe me.
Ugh, not enough.
I
Okay.
think it's
Yeah.
I think it's plenty, Brian.
I'm just pumped to watch an NFL game on Nickelodeon. That's gonna be freaking awesome.
Ugh, that's
You excited to watch
I'm so
which game
pumped.
is it? It's Bears Saints, right?
It is Bears Saints. Oh, doesn't even matter. That game's that's not even gonna be close.
I don't
Even though
know. They went to overtime
the
in the regular
Saints-
season.
They did, but that was when the Bears.
If Kamara can get out of COVID protocol, then yeah.
That's-
yeah.
that's
He's gonna be cutting it close.
And they put the whole running back squad, Murray and everybody. in the
just to
running
be
back.
safe. They did
Everyone in
that
the
to be
backfield just to be safe, and God forbid they all get COVID. I mean, that whole
Well, they really
backfield
need
is still up
Kamara
in
because
question.
Drew Brees can't really do
Well,
anything anymore.
They did
Yeah.
throttle the Panthers without the backfield. So
The Panthers. Wow.
well, I
Actually,
know, but it
yeah,
was like 36. It was like absurd. It was like 36 to 7
yeah.
or something like that.
But also the Bears stink. Like they're just trash. So that game's not gonna be anything.
Montgomery's starting to heat up.
There isn't really like a game where it's like, although
Ravens
Eh.
Titans
Fine,
is a great
games.
game.
No,
Ravens,
I think
Titans,
Bills,
I think
Colts,
Titans should
honestly,
win.
but
I
the
thi-
Bills
Bills,
should win by
Colts,
100.
Browns,
Browns,
Steelers.
Steelers.
I
Browns
would
can
love
get their
to see the Browns win.
If the Browns can get their receiving core all healthy, Browns,
my-
Steelers. I'm excited to see. I'm excited to see if Chase Young can hold true to his word, take on Tom Brady.
facts. That was so funny.
Very
Well,
excited.
that's the only
for
way
that.
you're gonna take them down. I mean, you saw earlier in the season with teams like the Rams and the Saints when they got pressure to Brady. I mean, you see what he does, and also just make him force the ball downfield. That's really what you got to do.
Seahawks, Rams. That they always seem to play each other close now these days. I mean, if Goff's out again, he's out for the year, right?
No, he's playing.
No, yeah.
If Goff plays, then we're different conversation. But
No, the Rams are going to get throttled. They're bad.
Yeah.
But so are the
Also-
Seahawks. The Seahawks
they're
are kind of
bad,
bad.
but-
They played 2
They
weeks
match
ago.
up well
and
against
the Rams
Seattle, I
can't-
think.
The Rams can't score.
Yeah, but
No,
I think
they
they match up.
Neither
I think
can
they
the
match up well
Seahawks
against
now,
Seattle
honestly.
because
The
Ramsey holds his
Seahawks
ground.
can't like the past 5 weeks. The Seahawks have not put up.
That's
going to
be a weird game. It's going to be a weird game.
I was
Here's
just
the
gonna.
thing, Chris-
But before after Nick was gonna be done talking, I was gonna say I was gonna give this the weirdest game of the playoffs award because it's just gonna be odd because both teams are in weird situations.
This is disrespectful.
I'm-
I'm looking at the all the games and the spreads and stuff. Baltimore's 3.5-point favorites on the road against a team they lost to in
Baltimore's
the regular
rolling.
season. But
Because
is
Baltimore's
Tennessee
found their
not rolling. Like
Baltimore's
they're
found their
scoring
stride.
points.
They've won their last 5 games.
Congrats.
found
They've played
4 or 5 games.
a total
know.
amount of teams of 0 talent.
Well, they beat
They
the
beat
Browns.
the Browns.
Yay. It's the Browns.
Yay! You're the one that was hyping up the Browns like the best team in the NFC North for so long. You're the one that was hyping up the
Andrew.
Browns so much. The Browns. So were you.
Not
said
really, no.
But you were, and they beat the Browns, and I think the Ravens are a good team. Obviously, the winner of that game gets to play Kansas City. So, but
Yeah.
Tampa's loving life right now, though.
Ah,
I can
they
tell you
are.
that.
I wish they reseeded after the first round because I
They
think
always
that-
did before this. I mean,
Yeah.
I think
they did.
I think if a 5 seed, 5 seed, you're the best team of the wild card. You're the best wild card team. You're playing the 4 seed. It's almost an even match. If you
this
win,
is actually, oh my God.
if you win, I don't think you have to play the 1 seed. I mean,
Yeah, but what
Also
if the
looking
2
at
wins and the
an-
3 wins?
Another random thing. So,
Well, I mean, yeah,
I
if
mean,
the 2
yes,
and the
I know,
3
it would
wins, then
make
like, what are you supposed to do
it would
there?
make sense that the 2 and 3 win. But I'm just saying, like,
It's-
just
I mean,
the
that's just how
res-
it works. Like, if you wanted to I mean, that's just like too bad. Just
What was it, Brian? You were gonna say?
So 4 of these games are gonna have fans.
Really?
All the Sunday
Well,
games
Pittsburgh
have fans.
is right. Pittsburgh has been
Pittsburgh
having
has fans. New Orleans
the
has
whole
fans.
year.
They've always,
and
but
the
they're
Titans
not going to have
fans.
obviously not full capacity.
Not full, no.
well, yeah, nobody's having
the
full
10,000.
capacity.
Most teams have had,
But so
most of these teams have
Buffalo-
had fans the whole year.
Not most. Like 10,
Pittsburgh
like-
did.
6 teams. No, Pittsburgh started in like later on, but 6 teams I think the whole league did. Regardless, Buffalo, the lowest tickets are starting at $13,000.
Jesus
Wow.
Christ.
Well,
First
talk
Phil's
about-
home game since the 90s, and they haven't had
Yeah.
fans all year. So
Talking about fans, the freaking Rose Bowl looked like it was 75% capacity. There were
Oh
so
my
many
God.
freaking people there.
Dallas, yeah,
It
Dallas
was
has
packed.
AT&T
was
Stadium has
so
been
many people.
like 50,000 the whole year.
So many
The
people.
The Rose Bowl
It
was
was ridiculous.
16,000.
16th. It just looked like it was a
The
ton
Rose
of people
Bowl had
because they were all
16,000
close to each
AT&T
other.
so they're
AT&T
25%
is holding a high amount.
Yeah, there were so.
No, they had a
looked-
graphic pregame. The stadium holds 8,000. The stadium holds 8,000. They had 16 there.
AT&T holds like 105.
It just looked like there were a ton of people. They probably moved down and
No, it's-
compacted the seats and stuff. But to
No,
me,
it should
when
be-
they panned out on the fans, it looked like there were so many people there.
It looked packed.
Maybe I'm thinking of the Bama game,
Yeah.
That's what we're
or maybe I'm thinking of the other game.
in the other game. Yeah, it could be.
The other game was like
Yeah,
3,000.
maybe the other game was. One of the games was
Superdome?
16,000. It was 25, and it was 25% capacity.
Still, it just looked like there were so many people there. And frickin' Devontae Smith balled out.
He's a bucket.
God, he's ridiculous.
No, yeah, AT&T seats 80,000.
Yeah.
AT&T Stadium seats 80,000. I just
It
searched
says
it up.
attendance right here, 18,373. Capacity 100,000.
Wikipedia.
Really?
Drag.
It just
So
looked
they,
like I don't know
they,
why.
they,
it
have, they have 25%. So they're holding.
looked
20,
like there
20,
were a lot
just
of
20,000.
Wikipedia says AT&T Stadium. The stadium seats 80,000 people, making it the 4th largest stadium in the NFL. by seat
Wikipedia is really
capacity.
Yeah,
reliable.
why would you trust Wikipedia, guy?
I don't know, because anyone can say anything about anything.
Okay.
Shut up, Michael Scott.
All right.
So you know
But
you're
yeah,
getting the best
The
advice.
Saints should handle the Bears. The Seahawks and Rams will be an interesting game. Tampa's loving life. The Bills are rolling. The Steelers and Browns will be interesting. And the Titans Ravens will be interesting. So we have some interesting playoff games.
My one upset would be the Bears because I think the Saints just choke like nobody's business.
They are again.
Except
it's-
so do the Bears.
the Bears stink.
The
though.
Bears
Like,
also suck. So I mean,
their
like,
offense can't get anything going in, and I almost
it's going to
said
be low
St. Louis.
scoring, I think.
My one upset would be the football team.
No, nah, I don't think so.
I mean, with the top
because
5
Their
defense,
defense is good, but
Hold
Tampa
on.
puts up 40 points a game.
hold on. Tampa Bay has beaten one team above 500 this year, and it was Green Bay.
Okay,
Really?
Green Bay is the 1 seed.
They've lost to every other team above 500 they played.
How many
And
others
they-
have they played then? They're
5?
what? 11
I
and
think
5.
they're either 1-5
Oh, damn, man,
or
they
1-4 against teams above 500.
They
doesn't
lost to
matter.
the
The
Chiefs by
football
3,
team
the
is
Rams
7
by
and
3,
9.
the Saints they got throttled.
Lost
Yeah,
to
it doesn't
Saints
really-
twice, Chiefs, Rams.
Raiders were at 500.
Okay, but they're not playing those teams.
Yeah,
they're playing
they're
a
not
team
playing a
below
team-
500.
It doesn't
Yeah.
matter.
Exactly,
I'm
they're
just
playing
saying.
a team below 500.
What are those? I mean, I don't know. I think that Washington can pull it off in a close game. Tampa struggled with the Giants early on. I mean,
That was a
I
long
just
time ago.
everything was a long time ago, but since then, Tampa really hasn't played anyone. But then the season, Brady's going off. They haven't really Detroit, Atlanta, like Carolina. They haven't really played anyone good to end the
See,
season.
that's the beauty of what the Patriots
So now you're thinking,
did.
oh, the Buccaneers are so good. They're killing all these teams. Yeah, but when they get to play a team that's as good as them or better than them, they can't find a way to win.
But that's exactly what Brady did when he was in New England. So why would it be any different?
This last season, we hit I think it was his last season or the season before that. There was a year where we were like almost undefeated against teams above 500 and had like a terrible record against teams below by 500. We lost like the Titans,
Okay,
or
but that
the
doesn't
Jaguars, the Steelers. I mean, we lost to those were
that was
their
the year we
only
lost to
losses.
Detroit on Sunday night, Week 3, 2018.
Right.
We won the Super Bowl.
Right.
Yeah,
So
won the Super Bowl.
Even that doesn't hold true.
And we also went 11-5, same as Tampa.
So,
yes. It doesn't matter.
There's no history
doesn't
of
matter.
Brady
This is-
losing to the good teams, and Brady's always beaten the good teams in New England. It seems like he's lost to the teams he slept on, like Miami half the time, and
I don't think he
especially in
slept
Hard
on.
Rock. They seem to always lose. When they lose, it's always the little games. They always showed up for the big games for the most
It's
part.
the playoffs though. It's not a little game.
I know. I'm just saying. I think
It's totally different.
if we're talking upsets, I think Washington's got a good chance to pull off an upset. Their defenses, they got a lot of confidence defensively, and I don't know. I just think if any team can do it, it's Washington.
Honestly, I can also see. I don't think they're gonna win, but I could also see if the Bills catch Indy on a good day, then I think that can be a lot closer of a game because Indy has been, like we all say about pretty much every single team, I feel like has been a weird team where they've looked really good sometimes and looked really bad. Like they crushed this Titans early in the year and then they lost them recently. They looked really good against the Steelers. They beat the Packers in overtime, so they have quality wins.
And
It's
they
just
lost
if they're
to the Jaguars week 1.
Here's
yeah,
my-
but that was
here's
week one.
my-
But they
here's my
just
issue
need their
with-
defense to show up. And then
Here's-
I think it'd
and
be a
their
lot closer.
and their run game with Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah,
he went off yesterday.
Oh yeah.
Off.
they-
Well, I mean, they
Let's
were
just
playing
take a moment to
Jacksonville, but
congratulate the
still.
Big Four fantasy champion.
Okay, I forgot to set my lineup. I forgot to set my
no.
lineup.
Even if you did, you still would have lost. I looked to see all the guys you would have put in. You still would have lost by 5 or 6 or 7, something like that.
Whatever.
Okay, the moment's over. Now, I think Jonathan Taylor can put
Champion!
up,
Woohoo!
I think
Only
Jonathan
team
Taylor can
above
put up near
500, 9-4, basically 11-4. I'm a bucket. Woohoo!
Okay, go ahead, Nick.
I think Jonathan Taylor can put up 150. CEH put up 160 something against
Actually,
the Bills.
13-4. Now that I think about it.
But I think that at the end, I think the thing that's killed Indianapolis against Pittsburgh was they gave up 28 points to the Pittsburgh Steelers, and the Steelers' offense was terrible. Well, they were in a very big cold streak. Wide receivers had brick hands. Ben Roethlisberger couldn't move the ball downfield. He was just doing dink and dunks to Deontay and Juju. He was throwing picks. And he gave up 28 points to the Steelers. Majority of those points in the second half. And the strength of Buffalo was they have a juggernaut of an offense right now. It
Buffalo
is
scores at
absolute.
will. It's unbelievable. They look
is-
like Alabama.
Well,
They
oh,
are
hold on.
absolutely. Hold on. They are absolutely rolling offensively.
56
So
points
even
in an NFL
even
game
if
is
Buffalo
insane.
catches Indianapolis on a good day, Indianapolis is gonna have to score well over 35 points to
Buffalo
win.
scored 56 without scoring in the first quarter.
That's
I mean,
ridiculous.
Buffalo is just their offense. I mean, I can also see Indy winning because Rivers, they got the experience. Allen, I mean,
I'm not
Rivers
talking
has the
about offense.
more
I'm talking about
experience.
defense. I'm talking about defense.
Yeah, defensively, right now Indianapolis defensively hasn't. I mean, they look great.
know,
At the start
so
of the
what-
year, but
so
at
what
the
hap-
end of the
yeah,
year, they
I
have
was
been
gonna
looking
say-
great.
I
And
was
they're
just gonna say
playing to Buffalo's strength, and their offense is necessarily the most electric thing you've ever seen.
What happened to them? Are they all injured? Because I swear, for the first 5 weeks of the season, we were talking about Indy's defense as being like the best defense in the entire league.
The league is offense is some
As Nick
far
Saban
superior
said
right now. It's right now
this season,
offense is right now
even-
35. You turn the clock back a decade, 30. You score 30 something points in a game, you're chest up. You're like domination. Now you score 30 something points in a game. It's just a normal Sunday.
No, I know, but I've
So,
said.
I mean,
the-
Indy's
their-
defense has been good, but when you get a combination of a juggernaut offense that Buffalo has,
No.
and defense can be good, but you're still looking at over upper 20s, low 30s points a game, and with Buffalo's offense, it's just I worry that Indy has the offensive firepower and weapons to be able to compete with Buffalo. Sorry, I mean they don't have the.
I don't know what happened to
defense
their
can hold.
defense because again, we were
It's
talking
their run
about
game
it.
that's the best part of their game of their
I
defense.
mean,
and
it's not like their
Buffalo's not
defense has
necessarily a
been
running team.
terrible.
It's not.
no, they
their-
haven't.
I
No,
just-
they haven't. They've been a good defense, but their strength is the run defense. That's where they ball teams up. The run defense. That's how they were able to.
Yeah, and
that's
the
how they're able to
Buffalo
beat-
Bills don't really have one.
Buffalo doesn't really run
Allen
the
and
football.
Diggs is really it's starting to turn out to be probably a top 3
Right.
QB wide receiver duo. If not top 3, then top 5. They're up there. I mean, Stephon Diggs is definitely a top 5, arguably
Right.
top 3 receiver this
Top 3.
year. I
Yeah,
think.
top 3.
Yeah, I think he's up there with D Hop and Devontae.
Yeah, he is.
He's just been ridiculous.
Buffalo
it's
is-
insane. And then also, I mean, their defense has also been great. So I don't know. I think they'll handle Indy, and I think
Buffalo,
that they're
Kansas City.
Buffalo is the
AFC
biggest.
Championship game battle. Look.
Oh, yeah.
Buffalo
They're the
is
toughest. They're by far the toughest competitor for Kansas City to dethrone Kansas City. It's not even close.
For so long it was set up the pass by using the run. So teams with good run offenses tend to thrive, offensively at least. Now with Buffalo's doing set up the run with the pass. They're passing on first and second down, and they're running on third and short. Sometimes not even that. And they just
Using the run to set up the pass.
A lot of teams use the run. Way long ago, teams used the run to set up the pass. The running game was the primary feature. First, second down, you run the football, and then you throw it on third down. Now it's first, second down. Buffalo's passing the football, and if the third inches, whatever, they run on third down, but they don't even do that often. This one, it's just oftentimes they just throw all three times, and it's just they're throwing a lot more than they're running. So, that's playing into Indianapolis' defensive weakness. I can't see how Indy wins this game.
I don't think they're going to win the game. I never said that I thought they were going to win. I said that they have a chance if they look like the defense that they have. And they've only let up 30-plus points 3 times this season.
Yeah. And
so
once in the past 6 weeks.
It's possible. Yeah, I know.
Right, but the 28 to Pittsburgh is concerning to me. Especially
to Pittsburgh, it's an offensive league. You're going to expect teams to score.
Yeah, I know. Okay, so
like you said earlier, 28 points is just like a normal Sunday. So why is that so negative for them?
Because they gave up 21 points in the second half to Ben Roethlisberger, who can't get the ball downfield, to a wide receiver core that can't catch the ball against an offense that can't run the football. So Pittsburgh was at the low. Pittsburgh at halftime of the Indianapolis game hit their low point of the season, and then they made an adjustment at halftime, and they shot right up, and they ended up coming back and winning. They had a 24-7 lead. Indianapolis did 24 or 21-7 lead at halftime. Second half, they lost 21-3, and they gave up 3 passing touchdowns to Big Ben. 2 of them were well over 30 yards in the air, which is something that Big Ben never does, ever, especially not recently. It's a completely fatigued Pittsburgh offense. The receivers can't catch anything. We're talking brick hands all over. Ben Roethlisberger is just throwing it short to Deontay. They're getting like 3 to 5 yards a play, if that. And
Deontay
the run game is
39-yard pass touchdown from Ben Roethlisberger.
Yeah, I said he had 2 long touchdowns.
25-yard pass touchdown.
Yeah, I said he had 2 long touchdowns. Yeah, he had 2 long touchdowns in that game.
It's pretty impressive for them to put up 28 points when James Conner is 21 yards.
He turned it around in the second half, and he did that all in the passing game. And they in my opinion, hit the low point of the season in that second half because they're coming off a lot since they put up 7 points. They're down 21-7 to Indy in the first half. They hit the low point, and they shot right back up in a split second, and they won the game. Like, that was concerning to me how Indianapolis gave up the big play.
That's just
repeatedly.
Great offense.
Yes, it is great offense, but it's great offense by not a great offense, right? So
they did win 11 games without losing.
Yeah, and then they played 3 games in 14 days. The offense looked terrible. So but
you're saying
half,
they played 3 games in 14 days. Oh, they're fatigued. Once they get a full week off, they'll look great. They got a full week off. What happened? They look pretty good. That's
but they didn't have a full week.
But now you're criticizing them.
They didn't have a full week off against Indianapolis. I said it after the Indianapolis game. I said it after the game. In the game, they had not had a full week off. They were on a short week again. They played Monday night the previous week. They were another short week. Then they went from Monday to Sunday. They were playing another short week. They looked terrible in the first half. It was not at that point in the season. At that point, that offense was not good. They were good in the start. Then the short weeks came in, and the offense was not good when they were playing Indianapolis. It was not. And Indianapolis gave up a lot of passing yards to not a good offense at that point in the season.
I think that's just good offense.
That wasn't moving the ball downfield. Yeah, it was good offense. It was good offense by a team that didn't have a good offense. Now they're hot. Now they're fresh. Now they're better. I'm just saying that I think. Sorry, hold on. It's concerning to me that Pittsburgh did that to them. It's concerning, especially now going up against Buffalo. I'm not saying Indy's bad. I'm just saying I think Buffalo's going to kill them.
I think it'd be close if the defense shows up. They have some players on that defense that can really disrupt especially in the front seven with Darius Leonard and DeForest Buckner. So if they can get to Josh Allen early, then I think that it can be a very different game. Their secondary, I agree, isn't that great, but their front seven is legit. So if they can utilize rushing and blitzing a lot on pass plays and trying to fluster Josh Allen, because honestly, Josh Allen is not good passer when he gets out of the pocket and when he's on the move.
Yeah, right.
He needs to stay in the pocket.
Right.
Well,
he's also only
it's
played
actually
one playoff game.
Right.
It's actually
that
shifting to that.
I think, like you said, Luke, you got to get to him early. You got to fluster him, especially with a young quarterback like that. If you get to him early, it's definitely going to be beneficial. They got to play like they did against Green Bay in order to have a chance.
You have to get to him early, and you have to game plan Stephon Diggs to make sure that he's not open early. If he's open at all, it's late. Like, you have to game plan that. I don't know how they do it. They're smart.
It's hard to do that too because Cole Beasley has been on a tear this season too.
Yeah.
Right. And I think they have I think Indianapolis would have a much better shot against Tennessee. Now, Tennessee's not as good as Buffalo, but they're a playoff team. But I just think, for example, the matchup-wise, Tennessee's strength is run offense, obviously. Indy's strength is run defense. I just think when you have a team that's defensive weakness, they're a great defense, but they take away the run, but it's tough for them to take away the pass often. And when you're playing a team that's so pass-heavy, it's just what does it matter? Buffalo's not even going to need to run the ball anyways. It's not even part of their game plan to run the football that much. So it's just you kind of take away Indy's strength. You're just playing strength to weakness now. And you're playing your offensive strength to their defensive weakness. It's just that's how great defenses look bad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. If you're Buffalo, you gotta make Phillip Rivers throw the ball. There's no question.
Yes.
You gotta make him throw the ball. You gotta make sure that what's his face? You gotta make sure the run game is
Jonathan Taylor.
Run defense,
Yeah.
Jonathan Taylor. I mean, he's coming
Phillip
off a
Rivers
huge
is
week.
Weird.
He is
mean,
weird. Like I
Buffalo
don't
has
understand him. It's the same thing. Like it's weird players in weird teams. Like Indianapolis. Like, did you really expect them to be a playoff team at all?
Didn't Harris put up 100 against Buffalo? Damian?
Maybe
I
the
don't
game that
know.
Cam fumbled like the bum he is. I don't know. Probably.
I think Damian had a really good rushing game, and obviously Clyde.
He probably did because he scored late.
Clyde had like 160 against Buffalo. Buffalo's run defense isn't good. I think John Taylor's going to have a huge game, even if Indianapolis gets killed.
Yeah, but
who knows?
If Indianapolis
Buffalo's
is down
defense
early, they're
has
probably
been
going to pass the
good.
ball. So,
Well, that's what you
who
have
knows?
to do.
Right. Well,
Who knows? But yeah, football games, playoff. Next week, I think the first one is on the 9th. Is that? Yeah, first one is on the 9th. That's actually the one we were just talking about. Bills Colts, 1:05 p.m. Eastern Time, Saturday, January 9th is that game, and then the rest will follow on the 9th and the 10th. You can watch that one of those games. Which one is it on Nickelodeon? One of
Bears Saints.
Bears
yeah.
Saints. Tune into Nickelodeon. I'll be watching it on Nickelodeon.
No.
But anyways, briefly, we'll go to the NBA, and we were talking about this before we started, but for some reason, and I'm not gonna complain because I freaking love it, but the Nets suck. It's only been
It's
7
funny.
games.
Dude, I love when
NBA is
Kyrie. I love when Kyrie's just like, I finally get to play with a player that's as clutch as I am. Kyrie misses a 3. KD misses a wide open shot.
Mid-range.
A wide open mid-range shot. That is
they
his
missed the
bread
game
and
tire
butter.
against Charlotte.
Yeah.
I like it. And again,
NBA is crazy.
it's super hard to judge with 7 games, and we won't be able to judge who's really legit and who's not for my guess is another 2 weeks, at least when everyone's played about 15 games. But right now it's just looking super weird. Like the standings look super weird with the Pacers,
Toronto's
Magic.
1-4.
Well, the Pacers, the Magic, the Cavs, and the Hawks are all 2 through 5. And then in the
Denver's
West,
11.
the Suns are good.
Denver and
and then
Dallas is last.
Dallas
Denver's
is
11th.
Yeah, Dallas is bad. Denver's bad.
Dallas is
Um,
terrible. Luka
it's
Doncic
just
is
3-3
shooting
with no
9.5% from 3.
It's weird.
Terrible.
There are
is
so many.
terrible.
There are so many playoff teams in the Western Conference that even like I'm looking at the standings right now, like it looks somewhat normal with the exception of Golden State being the 8. Like obviously Denver not being there and Dallas looks weird, but I mean, Clippers, Suns, Lakers, Jazz, Pelicans, Portland, Houston, they were all playoff contenders to start.
I think I don't think it'll
the Eastern
be until
Conference is a lot different.
yeah.
with
I don't think
Miami
it'll be
out,
until
Brooklyn.
February until teams really
Toronto.
figure out how they're gonna play this season. It's just gonna take time.
February.
It's
Yeah.
gonna be the
because-
same thing with the Celtics. I mean, obviously they lose to a winless Detroit, and then they're competitive with Detroit again. I mean, it's just a short off season. They're gonna figure it out.
So
Jaylen
yeah,
Brown though, he's pretty
Jaylen
good.
Brown's a bucket.
That's a beast.
But we can't really talk about that because it's really hasn't happened. But yeah, so we can go to next segment now. But first, actually, I want to shout out one quick thing in college basketball. Gonzaga won by 20 plus yesterday, so they're now 10-0. They've played 10 games, but they scored the lowest amount of points they have all season. Without looking, can any of you guess how low that point total is? This is the
87.
lowest. Nope.
74,
Nope, higher, way higher.
82,
Nope,
82.
higher.
89,
85?
89.
85.
85. I thought it was 87. So I guess
They
you're
have
saying
played
85.
They have played 10 games, and their lowest point total this season has been 85. I don't see any team beating them the entire season, even if they do March Madness. They're just so
You think of my
elite.
bracket right?
Yeah, I'm just going Gonzaga all the way. They're nasty. It's just insane at this point.
Zags info.
Zags and foe. Nick. take it
Okay.
away.
Yep. I'm taking it away. We have a new segment. I think we're like, this is the fourth time we're
It's
doing
not
this.
really new
I'm saying
anymore.
new, Nick.
This isn't new any. I was gonna say this isn't new anymore. That's what I was gonna say.
You just
Relax.
said we have a new segment.
No, I said that we're doing this for the fourth time.
You said
so
we have a
this-
new segment here. That's exactly what you said.
That's not what I said.
Yeah.
It is what you said,
You
but how
kinda
about we
said
just
new,
move
But
on?
it's all right. It's okay.
How about we just move on and you
Okay,
get
Brian,
to
I
your,
want you to take
to
a
your
chill pill.
segment.
It's fourth segment, so it's not new anymore. That's what I was gonna say. And when you guys
Nope.
heard
Once,
me wrong,
once,
but
it's,
I got
once
3
it's past
seconds.
3, it's not new.
Yeah, I know.
Go ahead.
That's what I
Move
was
on.
saying.
Moving on.
Yesh, yeet, or yield. What? Get out of here.
Whoa! Delay of game. Come on. What's going on?
So make a cut sound.
No, I'm gonna leave it.
No, it's fine.
Yesh,
Just
yeet,
go.
or yield. Andrew Keene, Suns 5-2. Are they for real in the Western Conference? Do we need to consider them to be a top team in the West?
Like I said, it'll take teams until what I think about February, early to mid-February, to really figure out if they're legit or not. So I'm gonna have to yield
half
that
these
one.
questions I already made. We already freaking talked about in the podcast. So
It's all right.
stupid.
We can still do them.
Should start with this. Brian,
Yes. What are they? 14-2 in their last 16 games, going back to last year.
Oh, yeah.
They got Chris Paul.
yeah, but they're completely different. It's almost a whole new team this year.
Yes, they are. They're a good team.
13.
My turn?
I don't care. Doesn't matter.
My turn.
Brian didn't finish. Did he finish? Is
Yes.
Brian finished?
Am I talking?
No, he's not. Abso-freaking-lutely. They're freaking
That's not like we
5-2.
interrupted you.
They're sick. They're sick nasty. CP3, best point guard of all time. Not really, but my favorite point guard of all time. Is absolutely cooking. And then they also have Book and DeAndre Ayton. They're just nasty sauce. So yeah, they're freaking legit.
Best player on the team is Jay Crowder, though. Come on.
Yeah, Jay Crowder. And they don't have the worst shooter in the NBA anymore in Kelly
Kelly
Oubre.
Oubre.
Oh my God, he's so bad. He is
Absolute
so
bum.
bad.
No, the worst shooter in the league is Luka Doncic.
Oh, facts. 9.5% from three.
Is he wow.
Isn't Oubre worse?
9.5%.
Didn't we see our other day
Oubre's
that
probably the
Oubre?
same. I mean, he started over 17, so he's probably made
Well,
a
I
couple
mean,
since then.
I mean, yeah. The Warrior or Steph Curry had to drop 62 against
6.7%.
just to beat the
Yeah,
Trailblazers.
there you go.
Kelly Oubre is 6.7%.
Bucket.
Nick, go
0.3
ahead.
per 5
Who cares?
threes. I say yesh, partially, because I mean it's not like
So if
yield
it's partially,
territory.
it's a yield.
It's not yield territory because I think they're going to be very competitive, but obviously the Western Conference is very
75%.
competitive. Obviously the West is very competitive in itself. So I'm going to say yesh, maybe not top 3 or 4 like they are right now, but very much yesh. Chris Paul's making the offense hum. So, yay. Okay, number 2, Dose.
We live in New England. We talk fast and move fast. Let's get a move on here.
Well, I like to move slow. Is it safe to say, honestly, because Justin Fields throttled Clemson? Is it really a safe bet to say that Trevor Lawrence has the number 1 pick locked up to himself?
Yes.
No matter what happens in the national championship game.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep. Brian.
It's
my
not your
turn.
turn, Brian.
Brian, my turn.
Sorry.
My God.
Thank you.
Deal.
No question. Trevor Lawrence is the number 1 pick. You can't base you can't base your draft grade off of 1 game.
Right.
Trevor Lawrence didn't play terrible. Justin Fields just had the game of his life. You can't expect that from him every single time. He hasn't been that impressive. He's not in the Heisman race. Maybe it's because he hasn't been playing that well, which I think it is, or the fact that he only played 6 games. But you can't base who's going to be the number 1 pick. You can't change it based off of 1 game. So
Right.
The only one that you can change is Kyle Trask, because that was terrible.
Right, but he doesn't have it was like between him and Mac Jones too. Like there was kind of going, back and forth at that time. So it was closer than this may seem. Ryan.
Trevor Lawrence is arguably the greatest quarterback prospect coming out of the NFL draft of all time. That's been said by a lot of people. Trevor Lawrence has lost twice since he was in elementary school. Trevor Lawrence threw for 440 yards against Ohio State. Justin Fields is another Ohio State quarterback that will probably get cut in a couple of years because he honestly might not be that good.
Right, we're not talking about who's better. We're talking about if he has the number 1 pick locked up.
I think all I just said is pretty clear that Justin Fields, I don't even think is the second quarterback off the board.
Okay. Looky.
I'm gonna say yes, but I'm gonna say 97% yes. Just because Lawrence is good. That loss really wasn't on him. Their defense was absolute butt chips. So it really wasn't his fault. He played a fine game to me. I mean, it wasn't anything spectacular, but it wasn't terrible. The only thing I say hold the phone on is, and I understand that this man and Justin Fields really have no connection, but I think it would be very interesting if Urban Meyer takes the Jaguars head coach position. Then that could be something interesting. I understand that he never coached Justin Fields, whatever, but double Ohio State, it's the only thing.
Well, yeah, I last time we had a podcast, last time we did Yes or Yo, I'm pretty sure we clean sweeped every question. It just kind of got to a point where it was repetitive. So I'm going to say
we did that with the picks.
I'm very high on the yield, very high end Yesh, but I'm on yield too, because this is probably the greatest, one of, if not the greatest Alabama team that they've had in God knows how long, and probably the history of the school. Offense. If Justin Fields can do what he did against Clemson, and compete with Bama, dare I say, even blow him out. He won't blow him out. But if he does, that's where the yield comes in, because after being Trevor Lawrence, obviously went undefeated to the Big Ten. Big Ten wasn't great. Penn State sucked, but whatever. They kill Clemson, and then if they do what they did at Clemson to that great Alabama team, he's able to compete with that offense, and he even does above and beyond. And as Luke pointed out, Urban Meyer maybe going to the Jags. I'm just saying, I think that door needs to still – we can't close the door yet on that number 1 pick just yet. I think I just need to wait to see the national championship game to figure that one out.
If he beats Alabama, the door it has to be considered.
If Justin Fields plays
– it would have to be almost a blowout, and Fields would have to – it would have to be near a blowout, and Fields would have to go completely ham.
If Justin Fields plays the exact same game, then Bama would still win by 14.
Yeah, no, he has to blow them out. He has to, because the defense isn't gonna do what they did to Clemson to Bama's gonna score in their 30-something points. So Fields literally has to almost score on every Fields needs to score a lot of points offensively. He needs to have the ball. He needs to have it working. I don't think we can close that door just yet. So, Jets fans, you're big Ohio State fans this week.
concrete.
Okay,
Correct.
lastly, I'm changing this one. It was firstly against Buffalo, but we talk about Buffalo so much during the podcast that we don't. I'm going to take it back to the NBA, a team that I hate, the moon and back, Boston Celtics. It was talked about on First Take, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum debate. So, Andrew, yesh, yeet, or yield, is Jaylen Brown the number one in Boston now?
At Yish. And here's why. Lucas said this a million times.
There's a why.
And he says that Tatum and Brown are basically equivalent on offense. Brown is an elite defender. He's much better at defense than Tatum is. But I do think that Brown, well, as of right now, and I think even back in the bubble, is a better offensive player. And he's not going to score as many points because he's not taking as many shots. He's super efficient. I mean, he's shooting, 60-something% from the field?
66.
Yeah, 66% from the field. Exactly. He's super efficient. His shot selection is amazing. And his defense is top 10, maybe top 5.
I'm going to see. This is I wouldn't say yes, no, or yield. This is just straight. They're both great in their own way. Brown is the more polished player. He knows his role more. Well, I wouldn't say that. He's just more polished. He knows his game more than Tatum does. He knows he can attack mid-range. He knows he can attack the rim. He can shoot threes and make them confident with confidence. Jason Tatum just hit a really smooth 3. I'd love to see it. Tatum, on the other hand, has the more flashy game. They both do that. They both can drop 25, 30 every single night easily. So they're both great. Brown is a better defender, but I don't think it matters who's better. How do they complement themselves better is what makes them the best duo in the league.
So you're yielding?
I'm in the. It doesn't matter. They're yield.
Specify.
Sure, yield. I guess.
I'm gonna say not yet.
Talking.
They're not yes. They're not no. They're yeah.
I'm gonna say not yet. If the question was who's the better player, Jaylen Brown or Jason Tatum, the better player is Jaylen Brown, just because he's better on both sides. Like they're equal, like Andrew said, quoting me. They're the same offensively, but Brown's better defensively. So if the question was better player, Jaylen Brown, but number one option, I wouldn't say Jaylen Brown yet because he really hasn't been. So he hasn't proven that he can do it yet. Jason Tatum has, right? Yeah. Jason Tatum proved it last year when Kemba went down in March. He had like a 30 to 35 point per game month. So he's proven that he can do it.
34 and a half.
Something like it doesn't matter the exact, but Brown hasn't proved that yet. He hasn't been the number one option, and with Tatum there and having a year like he did last year, I don't think Brown will ever really get that chance. So I don't know if he will or if I don't know. It's just not yet, and I don't know if it will be. Unfortunately, I think he can, but he just hasn't shown it yet. Tatum has. That's why I say not yet. Yield, whatever you want to say.
This isn't a shocker, but this is the most participation three of you have had in Yes Shoot or Yield. You guys spoke paragraphs. You never do that. Just saying.
Sorry.
I'm going to keep this short. Shakespeare didn't say this, but he could have said this and should have said this. Thou who getteth the ball in the time of crunch is the number one.
Facts.
And who gets the ball in the time of crunch in Boston?
Dribble, step back through. It's like
playing. No.
It was a much better shot. Much better shot. It's a great shot.
Jaylen Brown is good, but you find me a team who gives the ball to their number 2 with the shot clock turned off in a tie game or a one-possession game, and I will say Jaylen Brown. Until you find me a team or a player that will get the ball and ISO in that situation, I'm saying Jason Tatum. He's the number one. Yeah. That just is what it is.
Himself a little bit of a game today. He 16 points midway through the second quarter, 3 for 3 from 3. Guy's a bucket.
No, we went 40 minutes without Brian commentating the Celtics game?
They're both buckets. You'll love to see
both buckets. And do you know who else is? Peyton frickin' Pritchard.
Yeah, he's the number one option, actually.
Peyton Pritchard today. Yeah, I mean, he's a bucket today, even. I mean,
how many points does he have?
He's got 9, 3, and 1, 4 for 6 from the field in 9 minutes. Beautiful stat line.
Okay, Luke, do we have any final thoughts?
I say final thoughts.
Celtics
Do you
player
have
now.
any final thoughts?
You guys wanna go leave and watch the Celtics game? So we should.
Do you have
Almost
any final
halftime.
thoughts,
We
Nicholas?
can keep it going.
Go Pats?
Go
Go
Pats.
Pats.
Brian. Oh, what? Okay, whatever.
Go Pats.
whatever.
Bill
Go
Belichick,
Pats.
if you mess this up and draft a freaking lineman with the 15th pick,
Trade up for
we are
Devontae
coming
Smith.
for your head.
Trade up
We'll
for
draft a
Devontae
kicker.
Smith. That would be awesome.
We want
Gonna draft the
Stafford.
dude Dorr from Notre Dame or
Nah,
Clemson.
trade up for
Who?
Devontae
The
Smith.
dude whose last name is Dorr. Dorr.
We want
Kicker.
Stafford.
That's a key check.
Trade up for Devontae Smith. All right. That's it. Thank you guys for listening. Once again, go follow us on Instagram and Twitter at the Big 4 _podcast. We'll see you Thursday. Peace.